thing is, when my mom and dad had all these records that were Broadway musical soundtracks, so there was always West Side Story in my house, Camelot, Fiddler on the Roof, Kiss Me Kate, which was basically the musical version of The Taming of the Shrew. My mom and dad had all those records. So when I was 5, I started learning to sing in a cover tone like that, you know, and trying to do Robert Goulet, you know, if ever I should leave you, all that stuff, like, and they were good songs, you know. And I kind of knew there was some pop music going on, but I was too small. Like, that was kind of the first thing I wanted to do. And that was probably a year or two of my life, and then I got into first grade at school, and my best friend, who eventually became my best friend, was a Beatles fanatic. So after that, singing was all about John and Paul. That's all. I mean, that was like, that's where I learned to sing. And Michael Jackson, maybe 3 years later, and Marvin Gaye, maybe 4 or 5 years later. But I would say it was all Broadway musicals early on. Beatles till now. Beatles are kind of, I guess that's really my main musical education. Later on, when I started feeling like I had a soulful voice, I started diving into the Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder stuff. But I think initially it was all John Paul, which is a lot of soul too. That's a lot of soul. I have had such minimal training vocally. I got into, while I was in college, I was in a top 40 band, really abusing my voice every night, like 5 sets a night. And I always had a good range. I was a tenor right away, so I could sing all the high stuff, you know. But when that burden is on you all night, you're going to lose your voice. So I think it was at that point that all my friends at school that were classical musicians were saying, well, you should go see Gerald Arthur. I mean, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't sing that way. And it's like, it doesn't matter. He's going to help you. And he sure did. I mean, I learned warming up. I learned warming down after the gig. And I would have problems with my falsetto, like my falsetto would go first. So I knew I could always gut out a note, but that's only going to last. It's not good. You got to come up with a plan B. So I went to see this gentleman named Gerald Arthur, who ran the Nashville Oratorio back then, and he was the conductor. And he'd have me sing, and he'd go, "Okay, stop. Did you hear what you did? You strained. You did this. You did that. You know." He just set me straight, and he knew that I could read music as a guitarist, but I had really no skills to sight sing, or I had no skills vocally other than what I had learned inherently and what I'd copied off records. So he never tried to change me stylistically. He's like, you got a sound, we're all good there. I'm not going to change your sound. I'm going to help you find your sound better. And he taught me how to warm up. He taught me how to warm down. We did a lot of things like and na, and young, and we'd do the scales, and sometimes I'd hit a frequency and it'd make me sneeze, you know. But these were things that were basically sort of like, I guess you're sort of lightly rubbing your chords. He didn't want me to do it too hard, but things like that I learned that really helped me back then. I mean, it was like night and day. So at age 57, I'm due for a serious master class. I've taken some names of some guys here in Nashville that have helped, some really well-known singers that have struggled with this or that, and he's kind of brought them back. one guy in particular. Well, I think he's working with Amy Grant right now, and really helped Amy. For me, it'd be a maintenance thing. It's sort of like just to get in there and go, I want you to troubleshoot and tell me the things that I'm doing wrong, because I know there are probably things that I'm doing wrong, but in the heat of the moment, you're just singing, you're just doing it. So, yeah.